Alright, by show of hands, how many of you have used Google today at some point? Okay. How many of you have checked your Facebook, saw a video on YouTube, maybe used Snapchat, tweeted something? Alright. So a majority of you have used some form of social media. According to the Pew Internet Project, about 89% of Internet users ages 18 to 29 and 78% of users ages 30 to 49 use social networking sites. That's a large chunk of the population. But it also makes you wonder, what else could you be doing with that time? I could go on and ask you all about how much you use your cell phones, how much you use your TVs, your computers at home, but I'm assuming I would get the similar response. My claim of fact is that the rapid incorporation of technology in everyday life has led to a declining effect on social interaction of children and adults by causing less physical interaction between others, changing their mentality towards social interactions, and negatively impacting the quality of their relationships. But first, we need to find out how many people actually use technology. In a study by the Kaiser Family Foundation published in 2010, about 66% of youth ages 8 to 18 own a cell phone and 29% own a laptop. In 2004, by contrast, percentages were 39% and 12% respectively. The same project also took a survey in this past May in which 91% of adults own a cell phone, 61% own a laptop, and 58% own a desktop. Many of those who own technology use it for social aspects. According to the same Pew Internet Project, 48% of adults use the internet for social media. About 80% of teens use the internet for social media in the same survey. Going on about usage of websites, Google is currently rated as the #1 website, with about 4.8 billion hits in the past month. On comparison, Facebook is the second in both the US and the world, with about 2.6 billion hits in the past month. Now, if you really compare that, Google is a search engine, so most people use it, to look for things, research for papers, for school, for work. However, on comparison, Facebook, something that simply is just checking on your friends and stuff, is used only about half as much, and is the second in the world. My first point, technology causes children and adults to have less physical interactions, which affects their social skills. Kaiser shows that 8 to 18-year-olds use about 7 hours and 45 minutes of time using media. More time spent on technology means less time spent on friends and family. This also goes as far as the school, though. Janet Sternberg, a professor of communication, says that in some cases, she noticed that more students don't look at her in the eye and have trouble with basics of direct conversation. My second point is the widespread access to technology has changed how people value other things in comparison. The Cisco Connected World Technology Report took a survey of over 3,000 students and found some interesting points. 1 of every 3 college students and employees surveyed globally believes that internet is a fundamental resource for the human race, and they believe it's as important as air, water, and food. In the same report, 2 of 5 college students surveyed globally said the internet is more important to them than dating, or going out with friends, or listening to music. Whereas previous generations preferred socializing in person, the next generation is indicating a shift towards online interaction. More than 1 in 4 college students said staying updated on Facebook was more important than partying, dating, listening to music, or hanging out with friends. Another quote is that if forced to make a choice between one or the other, the majority of college students, 2 out of 3, would choose internet connection instead of a car. So it just kind of gives you a comparison on how people view technology as an important part of their lives. Technology is negatively impacting the quality of people's relationships. The number of friends on Facebook is twice that the number of quality relationships a human being can maintain. This is actually found by anthropologist Robin Dunbar. It's also known as Dunbar's number. In an interview in The Observer, Dunbar states, "There are social circles beyond it and layers within, but there is a natural grouping of 150. So what that means is that naturally we can only maintain a quality relationship with about 150 people. On the Pew Internet Research Project, I found that the average Facebook user has about 300 friends. So that's about twice as much as you can maintain a relationship with. It also affects marriages. In a 2010 survey by the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers, found that 4 out of 5 lawyers reported an increasing number of divorce cases citing evidence derived from social networking sites in the past 5 years, with Facebook, of course, being the market leader. Also, how many of you have seen someone at a party or social gathering using their cell phone? How many of you have pulled out your cell phone while passing by someone else to avoid that socially awkward instance of looking them in the eye? Okay. So also, you can see how it's hindering people's ability to develop relationships. That time could be spent elsewhere. It could be spent actually engaging in conversation. In the conclusion, technology has negative effects on social interaction of both children and adults. People have less experience in social environments because they spend their time on the computer, cell phone, and the TV. The attitude of how important technology is to many people is alarming because many would rather spend time with their devices than with real people. Also, people become reliant on computers and cell phones for social interactions, and it hinders their ability to interact without them.
All right, Garrett, I generally don't like audience surveys as attention devices, but it worked pretty well for this topic, and I thought it got you into the subject effectively. There's a good rhetorical question that you use to make a transition to your claim. You could highlight the claim a little bit more and the secondary points, but they are clearly stated at the beginning of the speech, so I appreciated that. I do think that you need to maybe be upfront a little bit more about what the controversy is here about whether or not actual friendships or relationships that have been used or defined by older standards are dissipating or being undermined. You kind of go with this argument instead about how many people are using the technology. I think that you kind of established that in the beginning, so that felt a little bit redundant, and it took a while to get to the first point, which really develops your main arguments. Once you got to those points, though, I thought that you were very effective at presenting evidence on each of those points and explaining how it has that particular impact. You cited the sources on most of the evidence very consistently. I thought that you explained your inferences. I do think that sometimes you're depending on the statistics in order to be able to make the inference. So, for instance, when you have the Dunbar number that's 150 and you say the average Facebook person has 300 friends, I don't know that anybody on Facebook really thinks of the 300 people that they label as friends as being friends and that they're maintaining a relationship with them. I'm not sure that that's an appropriate equivocation to make there. When you have the number on divorce cases, for instance, the lawyers talking about that, I think that's an interesting idea. It illustrates some potential problems, but the relationship that it's because people lack social skills sounds to me like it's the exact opposite, that they've got social skills, they get on Facebook, and now they're hooking up with somebody that they didn't know before, and that's causing the end of their marriage. So, I mean, there are different ways to maybe interpret that particular data. So, like I said, I think you've got a lot of statistical information, which is good, but the inferences that you're drawing from the statistics, I think they need to be explained a little bit more at times. All right, thank you.